Welcome to episode 101 of the Trading Without Borders podcast with Omobi, your host. For today's episode, we are delving into the AfCFTA Digital Trade Protocol. So today I will introduce the protocol by taking a deep dive into the preamble, the general and the specific objectives of the Digital Trade Protocol. So let's go right into it. The preamble notes that the member states of the African Union, having regard to the aspirations of the AU Agenda 2063 and the Digital Transformation Strategy for Africa 2020 to 2030, they are also acknowledging the increasing role of emerging and advanced technologies in fostering innovation and trade, and the need to further encourage the ethical, trusted, safe, and responsible adoption and use of such technologies. And they also desiring to harness digital technologies and innovation to boost intra-African trade and investment, in line with the objectives of the AfCFTA. Okay, so what does the protocol seek to achieve? What's its aim? So let's take a look at the general and specific objectives of the protocol. Article 2 of the protocol provides that the general objective is to support the attainment of the objectives of the AfCFTA by establishing harmonized rules and common principles and standards that enable and support digital trade for sustainable, inclusive, socio-economic development and the digital transformation of the continent. So this protocol is meant to guide the state parties in coming up with common rules, common standards and principles that will enable and support digital trade that will lead to digital transformation of the continent. And what are the specific objectives? Number 1, to promote and facilitate intra-African digital trade by eliminating barriers to digital trade among state parties. Okay, so state parties are to eliminate barriers, and barriers could be in the form of regulations, internet connectivity, intellectual property issues, and so on. So state parties are to look for ways to eliminate such barriers that may hinder the success of digital trade within the digital trade ecosystem. Let's look at the next one. The state parties are to establish predictable and transparent harmonized rules and common principles and standards for digital trade. So one key issue here is rules that are predictable and transparent. Let it be open, let everyone be able to access, and let such rules be harmonized. Let it be common principles and standards within for digital trade within the continent. Then, of course, number 3, we should also create a transparent, predictable, secure, and trustworthy digital trade ecosystem for businesses and consumers. This one focuses on the responsible use and adoption of digital trade technologies, amongst others. Within the trade ecosystem, consumers must be assured of safety in their use of the services of digital trade services, or whether buying products within the e-commerce space or digital trade space. And businesses also should be should we say trained? Of course, we'll still get to that part. In there also the use of technologies in putting out their products or services online. Then number 4 objective, it says enhance cooperation among state parties on matters related to digital trade. For this one, facilities and infrastructure. Some states are not as developed, are not at the same phase of development within Africa. So state parties are to cooperate to get the developed ones, helping the least developed ones in coming up with in the provision of infrastructure and facilities for digital trade. Then number 5, common and open standards to enable the interoperability of frameworks and systems to facilitate cross-border digital trade. Then we have another one: encourage trusted, safe, ethical, and responsible adoption and regulation of the use of emerging and advanced technologies to support and promote digital trade. Yes, I've spoken about responsible use and adoption of technologies in digital trade. Then another one also says promote digital skills developments, innovation and entrepreneurship, and digital industrialization, as well as develop digital infrastructure to facilitate the digital transformation of state parties, and finally to provide a common legal framework for digital trade among state parties. Okay, so this is where we are wrapping up today's episode, and as usual, the podcast is for educational purposes only. If you need to discuss more, you want to find out about accessing other African markets or any other African states, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Omobola Adekola, and until next week, I'd say to you, bye-bye.